Hello everyone and welcome to the August monthly update for the Auburn University RFID lab. My name is Justin Patton. I am the director of the lab. A couple things for you here today. This is going to be a short update. Board meeting coming up in October and November. This is going to be a little bit different than we've done it in the past. We're actually splitting the board meeting between two dates. I'll explain why in a minute. The first date is in October 23rd. That is the retail portion of the RFID board. It's going to be a full day. We're starting around 9 a.m. We're going to have a meeting of the blockchain work group that we've been working on with the past year with various different partners. That will go from about 9 to noon. And then in the afternoon, we're doing the retail board meeting, followed by a reception down at the RFID lab. The next day on the 24th, GS1 is doing their ELC committee meeting. That is a closed group meeting for that ELC committee, but those of the ELC that are not already members of the board meeting, I think are going to come to the board meeting the day before too. So it's going to be a full day, very retail focused. Look forward to seeing all of our board members and invited guests down there. If you're interested in coming by and you're not a board member or guest, shoot us an email and we can have that conversation. The second part of it for the aviation board meeting was going to be in November. The reason is because, as you may recall, Delta gave us the generous gift to the RFID lab last year of $2 million, and then also to the aviation program at the university for $4 million. Part of that funding for the aviation program was building a new building on campus. That building is finished or very close to completion, and they're going to be having a grand opening ceremony for that building in November, just before Thanksgiving. So what we're going to do is we're going to invite the aviation partners for the RFID board to come in November around the time of that building dedication, and there's going to be a big campus event. So that's why we're kind of dividing those two sessions and two meetings between those two different dates. For those of you on the board, again, you're welcome to come to both, and you'll get invites to both if you haven't already. Other things coming up, Zipper on its tail end. I've been bunkered down in the library for the last few days and the remainder of this week getting the paper polished and out. GS1 is hosting a webinar where we're going to go through the results of the Zipper project. That webinar will be on September 25th. If you're interested in attending that webinar, which I strongly encourage you to, you can go to the GS1 webpage. It's gs1us.org. There's a tab for education and training, and then underneath that education and training tab you will see an events tab, and then that will pop up to the webinar. Otherwise, you can click on the link that goes directly to the registration for the webinar. We're going to put it in the description of this video so you can find it easier that way as well. So look forward to seeing you all on September as we talk through the results and give you the paper. Beyond that, there's a few other minor updates that we have. We've been doing a lot of work with food safety and tracking in the past month and a half. We spent some time down in the coast with the Auburn Shellfish Lab. They've got a very interesting project that's standing up there with oyster tracking from source to restaurant, so full supply chain. We've got a lot of different things that we're looking at plugging into there, from serialized item tracking to some cold chain tracking to just some monitoring the animals during the farming process. And I believe that there's going to be some high school students involved in that with a high school down there as well. So Professor Bill Walton is down on the coast. He's a good guy. He's been very knowledgeable on how we could potentially get more technology into that space. And what we hope to do is, once we can get through oysters, we can expand that out to other seafood programs as well. At the same time, kind of coincidentally, the USDA has gotten much more aggressive on the serialized animal tracking on beef cattle. That program is actually coming into play. They're looking at making sure that we can digitally track animals that are crossing state lines or animals that are breeding animals. So we've had some conversations at the state level here, and they're looking at some national alignment on how we can finally kick some things off in terms of beef and cattle tracking for animal tracking. The goal of all of this is not just because it makes the cattle farmers' lives easier, which is a great thing and we want to do. At the same time, we're looking at spearheading an effort into doing a holistic visibility into seafood, beef, produce through the full supply chain. This is something that y'all been asking for years. It's been very challenging to do, mainly because of the various different regulations, issues, and things like that. But we're finally getting some ground up momentum, so I expect to see big things on that in the next year or two. And then finally, on the aviation front, that has been exploding in the past few months. As you've probably seen in the news, aviation and RFID is all over the place, with the baggage tracking programs expanding globally to pretty much all the air carriers by 2020. A lot of work on digital parts tracking, especially in the commercial space. Cynthia and I have been very busy. We're welcoming some more new partners on that. We're making a trip overseas into this week, so we're going to go see some of our Asian carrier partners, and then also see some of the retailers over there as well. So this has been a really good year for RFID. I don't know if a lot of you have seen some of the projections for tag volumes, and they're significantly higher than the year before, and we're seeing a significant increase forecast for next year as well. And we're starting to see some of these industries come together. Again, as we've been saying for the last few months, this is all about serialized item tracking through the supply chain. We're finally moving away from RFID as a technology focus to RFID as a data carrier, and really getting into these data exchange issues, which is a good thing. Also, and I'll leave you with this, we've got several students that are graduating soon, either in December or in May of next year, and then also some that are looking for some internships for next summer or following. We have a package of resumes that we put together, so if you're interested, you need some students. The really good thing is we've had probably 3 requests this past week for new students going to work in the RFID space. That job market is really picking up, especially for RFID technology and sensor technologies. So we encourage you to give us a shout, and we'll see if we got someone who might fit your needs. So thank you very much, and we'll see you here again in October, and then I may see some of y'all face to face before that.